7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Welcome back, everyone. In the previous video, we finished up adding this horizontal background section to the page here so that it pretty much is a one-to-one visually with what we had in the prototype. And this section is completely optional. I mentioned before there will be no coding required. We already have a completed landing page, and at this point you could publish it and use it and it would work completely fine. But I would be remiss not to show how you can add custom HTML and CSS, actually in this case just CSS, for those of you who may be interested. So I put this one little piece in here so I would have the opportunity to show you how to use some code if you wish to do that. So to make this section look like we have it here, you would come into styles and there's this section here for custom CSS. If you turn this on, this allows you to add custom styling using CSS code. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So let's start and go ahead for those, I want to show you at this point that you can just go ahead and publish the page and it would be all set. So you click publish, and I'll call this page landing page course, and I will go ahead and publish that now. So I'll copy the link, close it, put it into the URL bar, and now this is a publicly visible page. People can come here, they can see this, and that's how they would do this. So if I want to start styling this, I would have to click inspect and figure out what this section is called here. So when I'm in here, I see that this section has an ID of social proof. I already wrote all of this code for you guys, so if you don't feel like doing this, I'll just leave it in the course notes and you can just plug it in. But if I wanted to style this, I would come in here, click the CSS, and I would use a selector of hashtag for ID, social proof. And then anything that I put in between these brackets will add custom styling to this section here. So I've already written it up. I'll copy and paste it in for the sake of time, and I'll explain what this is doing. So it is selecting this whole section here using social proof, and it's adding a margin to the top and the bottom. So margin means the distance between the next closest element on the page. So it would be the gap between here and this section and the gap between here and this section. So it's adding 50 on top and 30 pixels on the bottom. It's also adding padding internally. So this container here, the padding is the space between where marketers come to grow and this blue line, the edge of this box. So it's adding 10 pixels on top in here and 10 pixels on the bottom in here. Then it's adding a border to the whole section. So around the outside of this, it's saying we want a 1 pixel wide border that is solid, and this is adding the color. This is a nice light gray. The border radius is what gives it this rounded section. We showed you that with like the button up here. So I'm doing, where we did 10 before for these buttons, we're doing 15 pixels for this. And then the final piece here is a box shadow code, a little bit complicated. You can just copy and paste it, but that's just telling it how much shadow we want here and what color it should be and all of that good stuff. So the one thing to note about adding custom CSS is it won't show up in here. It'll only show up in the preview and the final page view. So you'd be looking here and you'd say, oh, that nothing has happened. But if I go into the preview pane, you'll see the effect that this will have. So we'll go to desktop and boom, there it is. It's a little bit bigger because we added the subheading here, but that's how the section will look on desktop. So if I exit the preview and I update the page, that's all it really takes to add a little bit of extra custom styling here. Again, I'll put it in the show notes, in the course notes, and you can copy it directly. But when I go view this landing page now, it has that section. It looks really cool, and that's pretty nice. The other thing that I want to add is if I click this watch for free, that's a very abrupt scrolling motion. So there is one other little line of code that I'd like to add. Again, all of this is completely optional. I come in here and I put an asterisk. And in CSS, an asterisk means select the whole page, everything that the page contains, and there is a styling called scroll behavior. So how fast that scrolls down the page is very fast and kind of frustrating now. So I do scroll behavior smooth. And then when I update the page now and I view it, when I click on either one of these, I should have a nice smooth scroll. That's a lot better than it was before. So at this point, we have pretty much a one-to-one landing page with what we had designed over here on the side. It looks very much the same. We've had a couple cool features like this. So now we're all set to go. This page is published. It has that custom styling. It looks exactly the same. So the last couple things that we have to do is adding SEO tracking, adding Facebook tracking, hooking up our analytics, and then eventually we're going to add a chat software. We're going to add Google Optimize so we can start A/B testing these things. And then I'm going to go through the process as well of what we're going to do with this form submission. So stay tuned. A lot of exciting stuff.